And so here to tell us how to build this type of culture and make your organisation a great place to work, I'm delighted to welcome Ray Sliva, Chief People Officer from Best Buy. So hello, good morning, Ray.
Good morning, everyone. It's really exciting to be with everyone here today, and I require no push to talk about Best Buy ever. In fact, it's one of my favorite pastimes. I've been with Best Buy for over 20 years, and every day I feel blessed to align my purpose and my passion to what the company needs from me. I want to spend my time talking today about our culture and what makes the culture at Best Buy uniquely special. And I firmly believe everything, company strategy, NPS, earnings per share, the employees, especially the employees, everything starts and ends with culture. I want to share with you what makes Best Buy stand out as a great place to work. Like you said, through the pandemic, we realized that culture was a differentiator from our competition. A culture that was, like you said, resilient, trusting, and lifted by a sense of family, had the stamina to weather the most challenging moments of the pandemic, and it continues to guide us today. At Best Buy, the traits and quality of our culture are made by the amazing employees and leaders that work here. We believe that if we lead by the mass, we would lose the soul of our company. That's why we're committed to leading one employee at a time, every single time. We believe we all have a story that's unique. And when we share our own unique story with each other, it binds us together. Show of hands quickly in the audience of anybody who's seen the movie Moneyball. Well, in Moneyball, which is based on a true story, the manager of the Oakland A's realizes that with the help of a math whiz, that the key to winning games isn't hitting home runs, which has always been the conventional wisdom of baseball. It's actually getting runners on base. Because the more times you get runners on base, regardless of how, the more times those players cross home plate. And crossing home plate more times than your opponent, well, that's actually the point of the game. Now, I'm sure you're all sitting back thinking, like, why is he talking about baseball? Well, conventional business wisdom is that top line, bottom line, NPS, EPS numbers, all those metrics that you're focusing on are important when running a business, but they're all outputs. Outputs are directly connected to culture. And strong, healthy outputs start with a strong, healthy culture. And without a strong, healthy culture, the rest, revenue, happy customers, all the metrics, none of those happen. And it's our leaders' job to coach employees to create this compelling vision and a strong culture. And when leaders are able to have employees emotionally connect to the vision, to see how they fit into a bigger picture, that's the foundation of a strong and healthy culture. Whether our people are in stores, whether they're chatting on the customer care lines, whether they're working in our distribution centers, whether in our corporate office, all of our teams are clear on our vision and how to create a healthy culture. So here's a quick story and a quick video about our culture at Best Buy.
Is human.
Best Buy is family.
It's where I belong.
The first word that comes to mind is fun.
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 So much fun. This fun.
Resilient, great people.
Best Buy is adapting to change and challenge at every turn.
Best Buy is home.
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 It's just this connectedness and sense of belonging and higher purpose that we all have, one human being to another.
It's a place where I could really find myself and leverage my strengths and get to a place where I never thought I'd probably get to in my career.
17 years ago, I thought this was going to be a fun summer experience, and it's turned into a career and a place that I really think I'm welcomed and belong. And it's a place that I hope everyone else feels that same way.
I've developed some of the closest friendships and partnerships and relationships that I'll ever have in my life.
Best Buy has given me the confidence to achieve more for myself and to kind of pay it forward for my team.
I'm particularly proud that we were able to help people learn from home, work from home, entertain from home, and spend time with their families together. And that's what Best Buy is to me.
For me, it's a place where I'm seen. It's a place where I don't want to leave, and I get excited about putting on that blue shirt. I tell people I choose Best Buy, and I really stand by that decision.
And what gets me most excited is the chapters that are not yet written and what's yet ahead of us in this Best Buy story. We have an opportunity to build that story any way that we want.
We're not just going to be a retailer, but we'll be your neighbor, your friend. We'll be the person in your home when you need us to be.
Things won't always be easy. We're going to go through times of ups and downs, and we have continuously gotten up year after year and put ourselves in position to be the #1 consumer electronics company in the world.
At the end of the day, the next generation of leaders, way after me and most folks here on this call, will still find their purpose, which is to improve people's lives.
Anything that you want to do in life, Best Buy will be there to see you through it and to help you through it.
That's where, we make an impact in people's lives.
We are magic when we unleash every single individual's superpower. And either we can ask everyone to conform and be who we think they should be, or we could create an environment that unleashes what's amazing, unique, and special about each of us.
This is my story.
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 I just love watching that video. The past 3 years have taught us a lot about who we are, what's most important in our lives, and it really challenged us to think and act very differently. I've been with Best Buy for 23 years, and I started in 1999 when cell phones were like this big. And my first job in electronics, I was selling camcorders and radar detectors. My interview with Best Buy, well, it lasted for 4 hours because I talked for 4 hours because I talked until they were actually going to hire me. I really, really wanted the job, and I wanted it because I have a passion for people and a passion for developing people and helping them get to where they want to go. I've had a lot of jobs in my tenure at Best Buy. I've had every single role from general manager to president of retail. And I watched our company make hockey stick growth curves with exponential growth. I saw our stock split. I was there when our CEO was on the cover of Fortune magazine. Things were great. I was also there in 2012 when we were trying to figure out who we were and what we were going to do. The stock price was $11, and we had to adjust and transform and firmly pivot to a new reality. In 2012, we struggled to make decisions. Turnover and churn were at an all-time high. The street and analysts were saying we were going to go away, and our employees were unhappy. Our culture, well, let's just say it needed some work. I'd be on a plane and I'd have someone come up to me when I was wearing my blue shirt, and people would say that they're sorry because they read that Best Buy was going out of business. And after every single one of those conversations, I would think about the other retailers and the other businesses that actually did go out of business, who didn't make it. And it was hard to think about those leaders having to go home and tell their family, tell their friends, tell the people that they cared about that they lost their job. My empathy for them was off the chart. The way we made it through that time is by adapting. We looked at the landscape ahead of us and we changed. We made good, solid decisions. We had the right leaders in place. And leadership, I'll talk about leadership in a bit, but we put together the right teams. And we transformed our business model once again during the pandemic. We're now an omni-channel retailer, which means we meet our customers where they want, when they want, and how they want. In our stores, online, in a virtual store, and even in their homes. We are also meeting employees where they want. Our retention rates are strong. We're getting better at hiring a diverse workforce, and we're creating a culture that rivals the best. Our turnover is one of the lowest in retail. We had a leadership meeting last spring, and Heather McGowan was our keynote presenter. Heather wrote the adaptation advantage. The word adaptation, well, it's one of those words that everyone says they know or they think they know, but they wouldn't necessarily be able to define it. So for the record, adaptation means a change or a process of change in which an organism or species becomes better suited for their environment. Well, that's exactly what we did. We changed an operating model that took us 50 years to build, and we did it in 48 hours to adapt to the pandemic. That, for me, was the epitome of the word adaptation. Heather's book was selected as one of the top business books in 2021. It was one of the most downloaded books in 2020. And Heather says the best way to thrive in a new world, a digital economy with a remote, flexible workforce, is not to focus on the functional piece, the what we do. We actually need to focus on the why and the how we do things. What Heather is talking about is this need for us to be more human as leaders, employers, coworkers, colleagues, peers, all of it. In fact, humanizing and personalizing technology for every stage of life is our vision statement. And at Best Buy, SOP doesn't stand for standard operating procedure. It stands for service over policy. People are first. Employees, customers, stakeholders, and in that order. The litmus test for a successful company is the employee experience. And the foundation of that employee experience is made up of the culture. And culture consists of many, many things, but at its foundation, I believe it's made up of two components: psychological safety and belonging. And I think the best way to demonstrate culture, especially psychological safety, is by doing a little reminiscing. So I'd like you to think about the best job or role you've ever had. The one where you loved the work you did, the company you worked for, the team you worked with, where everything just clicked. Okay, you got it in your head? Many of you, I bet, actually thought about a person and not about the role or the company. The usual difference between a great culture and a toxic culture is a person, specifically a leader, and it only takes one. In a good culture, leaders are trustworthy and they're connected to their employees. This connection leads to a safe environment and it begets psychological safety and belonging. Leaders and how they lead, how they make their employees feel matters. We've all had at least one great leader, and that word leader actually falls short in describing them. They are advocates, sponsors, mentors, they are confidants. I recently heard the difference between the word mentor and sponsor. A mentor talks with you. A sponsor talks about you in rooms that you're not in, and they talk about you positively. I believe a leader is both of those. They are the people we go to often before we talk to our own family. They give us a chance. They saw something in us that others did not, and they opened a door for us. They are our champion. They have our backs, and they hold our feet to the fire and make us accountable. They do this because they care. They care about our development, and they want us to be the best we can possibly be. Here's what to do sometime in the next couple days. I want you to call the person that you thought of in that first scenario, the good leader. And I want you to thank them for helping you write your story. Thank them for being there, and thank them for helping you be the person you are today. And the not so great leaders, well, thank them too. They helped you get to where you are today, just in a different way. We heard it earlier. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of press about the Great Resignation. Some have referred to it as the Great Rethink, the Big Quit, the Big Reframe, whatever we call it. The result is the same: the mass exodus of 27 million people in 2021. It's the largest number of people who have voluntarily left in history. Economists, psychologists, sociologists, corporations, governments, everyone is trying to figure out why. And while there's not 27 million reasons why people walked away, there are several themes. In fact, I saw a Lineage survey that said 40% of respondents cited burnout as the primary reason they leave their jobs. Some left due to childcare. Others left because of the way their employee handled the pandemic. I know that list is long, but the main thread is people left because of culture. All of the reasons that I mentioned earlier are cultural pieces. Employees want a caring culture. They want to work for leaders and companies that create a sense of belonging, provide support, and create room and opportunity for them to learn and grow. If I had a mic in my hand right now, I would drop it because that's the mic drop moment. That's the gist. That's the nucleus. That's the point. What happened in the last 3 years? Well, that's something that I call the Great Awakening. We have all dealt with the pandemic differently, and there's no two stories that are the same. We've lost people we care about. We couldn't see family and friends. In fact, many of those people lived alone. What's true about that time is that it emotionally impacted all of us. And as a result, we've awakened. We've awakened to what matters most to us. Our jobs and our positions and our business cards, well, they matter less. Our family, our friends, and our health, they matter more. We want to feel valued. We want to feel seen. And we want to know that a company, our company, sees the human before they see the employee. It's really that simple. So the importance of leading one person at a time, it matters a lot. You heard me talk about service over policy. Well, every company has policies. Best Buy has policies, but we also believe there's exceptions to those policies, and strong leaders can lead exceptions. And at some point in time, every employee deserves one. Employee exceptions are a big part of the culture recipe. It's fulfilling the needs of the person standing in front of you and knowing that the needs of the person next to you are very different. The notion that what you must do for one, you have to do for everyone, well, I think that's a legacy belief in my respectful opinion. A great culture allows people to spend the time doing the things that matter to them and gives employees the flexibility to do the things how, when, and where they want. And it's not just flexibility, it's autonomy. If someone would have told me that the high school or college version of myself, that I would grow up to run a $50 billion business and have the opportunity to be on this stage right now with all of you, I would have never dreamed that's possible. I consider myself a pretty ordinary person. And I get up every day to work as hard as I possibly can to make sure that that my experiences become everyone's experiences at Best Buy, so that ordinary people like me can do extraordinary things at our company. And to accomplish this, people need to see people like them in order to realize that, hey, maybe I can do that job someday. Maybe I can be right where she is. Because if you see it, you can be it. And to do that, employees need and want. Actually, employees are insisting to work for a company where they feel safe and where they feel like they belong. You're probably familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and at the base of the pyramid is physiological needs of food, air, water, and sleep. Well, I'm a believer in the human connection, so much so that I almost think it should be the base of Maslow's hierarchy. The power of listening, validation, understanding, and the connection that a handshake or hug can have to contributing to a relationship. That's what I truly believe is so critically needed right now. And that's what we're setting out to do. And to figure out what it takes to build, preserve, and foster a great culture, we've conducted a lot of research. We've done customer listening sessions, employee surveys, employee listening sessions. We've done external benchmarking, all in service of trying to find out what our people are thinking and what they're feeling. We've got over 7,000 data points. And of those 7,000 data points, 3 themes emerged. And these themes have become the heart of our people strategy, and they are the foundation of our culture. The first is what I call unique possibilities. At Best Buy, we value you for what makes you uniquely you. Your background, your skills, your lived experiences, how you view things. In short, what makes you tick. It's not inclusion, diversity, equity as a standalone idea or a work stream or a task force. It's stitching all of those things together and upsetting the apple cart to change how we think and how we look at things. And that new way of thinking, that new worldview, that guides how we make decisions and guides our priorities. We want to cultivate inclusion amongst all of our employees, every single person. Our employee inclusion groups, which we call EIGs, are a huge part of that. And currently we have over 25 different groups that serve employees. And one of our key initiatives is gender equity in the field. And we want to have 1 in 3 of our field leadership roles filled by women or BIPOC. We have an internal and external rotational program that allows employees and new hires to have the opportunity to do short stints in areas that interest them. This helps draw out the uniqueness of employees and helps bring out skill sets that we might not have otherwise found. And all of our employees, regardless of their tenure, they get to learn about our inclusive leadership behaviors of vulnerability, empathy, courage, and grace. And by practicing these, we will unlock the potential in all of us, in every single one of our employees, so that they can unleash their own superpowers. And speaking of superpowers, here's one of our super heroines.
The person who had the biggest influence on me was my grandmother. She's my hero. She came from the Dominican Republic with her 4 girls and 2 boys. I remember shopping with her as a kid, and I would have to translate for her all the time. Sometimes people weren't so helpful, which is why I always treat everyone the way I would want them to treat my grandmother if she was shopping.
This area has a set of customers that seek a very specific type of help in terms of the language, in terms of the culture.
Bye. So we're a community store, and I wanted that to translate into the community, that the most important thing to me was the employee experience, because I know it affects the customer experience.
The great thing about grand opening a new store in this community is that you want the employees to represent the customer base, and I think that's been Catherine's approach.
Not only is she able to provide that because she understands people, she lives here, she works here, she goes to the gym here, and when people come in here to speak to her, they don't feel like they're speaking to somebody that maybe as a company we employed and put into the Bronx. They feel like they're just speaking to somebody from the community.
The Bronx is considered one of the most diverse communities in the United States. So I actually wanted to come out and talk to Catherine. You know, Catherine is a new general manager of a brand new store, new format store.
18-year-old me would not think that I would be opening my own Best Buy, let alone 5 minutes away from home. Like, it's surreal. It's not every day that you get to serve your own community doing something you really like.
I was reading the story about you, and you said initially you wanted to be a counselor, a guidance counselor.
I wanted a rewarding career. I wanted something where I felt like I made a difference or I made an impact on someone that's long-lasting. I remember telling my general manager, I'm like, oh my God, I just realized I'm a guidance counselor. I'm helping people around 19, 20, 21 figure out their school schedule, figure out things out at work. That's when I felt like, wow, like, I am a guidance counselor and I'm getting compensated better. Yeah.
This is a brand new team. It's been together for maybe 1 month. And you can already see the family feel of her team because she's led with that kind of tenacity.
I was fortunate enough to build my team. When you have new employees that go into a different store or a different leader, you have to learn everyone there. You have to meet everyone. It takes a few months for people to get comfortable. We had the advantage that we weren't open, so we were putting up shelves together.
Wow.
We were merchandising the store, and we were getting ready to open ourselves.
A company that has a heart and a soul should reflect the community. I walked in the store and I saw you. You're from this community.
It's a very big deal, and I don't take that responsibility lightly, which is why I hired 50% females, 50% males. You can teach someone how to sell a computer, how to sell a TV, but you can't teach them how to be a good person. You can't teach them to want to help someone, to really go out of their way to get something out of the customers. So make sure that when we're taking care of our customers, we're taking our time and we're showing. Growing up in Best Buy, you didn't see so many people that look like you, and in the store now that they're like, wow, she's the GM.
And now there's so many people that are walking around and going, oh my goodness, look at that leader. I can be just like her.
That's what a good leader does. They bring out the potential that you may have that you didn't think you had in you. When I think about the things that kept me in Best Buy for a very long time was people that cared whether I was okay and that my needs were good. I wanted to make sure that I pay that forward, and I definitely wanted to bring that into my store.
Such a fantastic leader and fantastic person. The second theme that emerged from our studies was that people want and need support. But not just support when, where, and how they need it. Best Buy is committed to taking care of our employees and all of those that they care about. We have employees struggling to get out of debt, looking to improve their education, struggling with depression or substance abuse. We've got leaders dreaming of starting a family, and others thinking about building their dream home. We also have leaders trying to balance running their stores and being a great mom and being a caregiver to a sick parent. A great culture with great leaders understands where their employees are in their lives so they can meet them there, one person at a time. Our people are the human differentiator for our customers, which means our leaders are the human differentiator for our people. I'm going to say that again. Our people are the human differentiator for our customers, which means our leaders are the human differentiator for our people. That's the commitment. That's our commitment. And one of the biggest lessons that we learned in the last 3 years is that we need to upskill and reskill employees. To have true lattice leadership, employees need to be consistently learning, which is our third theme. We want to be the employer that makes it easy for people to learn new skills, take on new challenges, so that employees can learn and grow. Because learning is energizing. And energized employees energize everyone around them. Continuous learning is part of a great culture, and we want learning to be at the core of ours. A strong culture values you for what makes you uniquely you. It's not a to-do list. It's not a checklist. It's not an initiative. It's not a department. It's a belief. It's a conviction. Every day it stands for inclusivity and parity and pay equity, and making sure that everyone has the same opportunities, especially those who've been denied possibilities in the past. It's taking the blinders off so we can all see clearer and better, and oftentimes for the first time. And then it's leaving those blinders off even when it's hard. And sometimes it's really hard. I'll end where I began. Best Buy is unlike any other company out there. I joined because I needed a job. I've stayed 23 years because I feel seen, heard, and valued. I know I matter, and that matters a lot to me. And I've stayed because of our great culture. Thank you, everyone, for your time. I really, really appreciate the opportunity. And I don't know if we have time for questions. There's probably a few of them out there, but I'm happy to take any of them. And thank you all again for giving me the opportunity to spend some time with you this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ray. I think you've got us all right in the feels. That was such a great presentation. Great way to open. Thank you so much. I think we do have time for one quick question. I believe Chad wants to come up and ask a question. Welcome back to the stage, Chad.
Hi, Chad.
Hey, Ray. I first want to say amazing keynote. It was so clear that the passion you have for your talent and creating a culture. And obviously leaders are essential to building that culture, and they have a responsibility to do that. I wanted to ask, at Best Buy, do you also believe that your talent is also co-creating that culture in real time? And do you almost see them as, the everyday guardians of that culture?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Every one of our leaders, every one of our employees. And for us, it really starts with understanding why we exist on the planet. What is Best Buy's purpose? The purpose isn't to sell a bunch of TVs. I mean, it's important to make money and we got to be profitable, but the purpose is truly to make a difference in someone's life. And when you can create an environment where people believe that that television I'm selling isn't about a television, it's actually creating family movie night. It's actually creating this opportunity, like yesterday watching the World Series and people yelling and cheering and having a great time and forgetting all of the struggles and challenges that they have in their everyday life. It's not about buying a laptop. It's about connecting with friends and family. And those things are very, very important. And when you can connect the purpose of the enterprise with the purpose of the personal purpose of an individual, for me, that's where that magic happens. And we work really, really hard to try to do that at scale across every single district, territory, market, and stores. And for me, that's the differentiator of when the culture becomes really special.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Chad. Great question. Do keep them coming. Thank you, Chad. And Ray, once again, just thank you so much. Really moving and brilliant way to open up our day 2 session here. So thank you for your time, Ray. We'll hopefully see you again soon.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.
You too. Thank you so much.